This week's episode, I sat down with Cassidy Anderson, aka Cassidy and Kids, who is honestly like your big sister of the internet. She is not only one of the most genuinely kind people, but one of the most educated queens I've ever talked to about all things like baby mom. She's a speech language pathologist. She's a feeding expert. And what I really took away from sitting with her as she was very pregnant with her third is it's not that serious. Have fun, enjoy motherhood, get tips where you need them, but just remember to also like tune into what you're doing and enjoy the journey of it all. She really gives like big sister vibes and was nothing but forthcoming with so much information, and exactly the same person that you see online is who she is IRL. And like those kind of experiences for me are everything and more. So I learned so much from her, and I hope you get the big sister energy that I did from sitting down with her, and I hope you enjoy this. Welcome to Seriously Selfish. I'm your host, Amanda Talijan. Welcome back to Seriously Selfish. I'm here today with someone who was a true guide to me through my starting solids journey, is an absolute inspiration, mom of two, almost three, and just like such a kind, sweet soul. Cassidy, thank you so much.
Stop it. What? You just popped that out of nowhere.
It's true.
We were just chit-chatting and then there it came. Oh, so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm really happy to sit down and talk to you. I'm not joking. Like, I have sent your starting solids stuff to everyone who's like, I don't know what to do, or like asks me feeding questions or anything. I'm like, no.
I feel like you give me like the most tags on Instagram. It's like whenever you tag me, it's like recommending my starting solid stuff. I was like, wow, what a supporter.
No, but I mean, first of all, absolutely. And second of all, because you've got the tea. Like, I feel like feeding journey is so complicated, from the beginning of like breastfeeding formula conversations to then how do I feed this child food?
Yep.
It's so complicated, and you have created such a safe space for people to learn and try and get very clear answers, which is all that people want.
That's all, literally.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole thing when starting it, was like me as a first time mom.
Right.
I was on the younger end, like first of my friends to have kids, and had like no one to ask questions to.
Right.
And it's like everyone's just looking for an answer to their question, which is like so valid and fair, because every kid is different. Every parenting journey is different. And that's sort of like, I was like, okay, I have this background and let's just start spewing stuff out and see if it helps. And I think it did help.
It did help. It does help. And it's helping so many people. And I think like that must be such a rewarding experience. I mean, because so you are a speech language pathologist, taking all of that information that you have and all of that knowledge to then giving it to people for free, and also being able to relate to them on another aspect, which is like, I'm a mom too.
The motherhood aspect.
And I think that you like combining all of that just has created such a safe space for people to get answers that they need. So like you have definitely achieved that 100%.
I feel like, especially in the social media realm with parenting now, it's like, I remember I followed like 6 probably different sleep people when I was a first time mom, and it just like overwhelms you with information. And I feel like there's this part of like sharing educational aspects sometimes comes off as like judgy, or you're doing this wrong. And so I've always tried to be like very mindful about like, you can do things however your heart desires. This is just like what I know and learn, and hopefully like take what you need and leave what you don't sort of situation. Yeah. Because it's definitely like delicate. You hear moms being like, I feel like I'm doing everything wrong because someone said to do it this way. And it's like, there's no right way. There's just different ways. And if I know some ways and I can share them with you, I want to do that.
But you do. And I think it's also, you're right. I think it's people feel very judged, specifically with all this access to information on the internet. And I talk about this a lot with my community, is like, it's almost too much.
It's too much.
And so to be able to go to one page, which like, this is how I really view yours, is like, it's one page where, first of all, you share how it's working with your own kids. So like you're living by what you do preach. And that's amazing to see. And then it's also like sharing products in a world that's so saturated with like, this is the
my
best
God.
cup for your baby and this is the best spoon, and it's like, what the hell, like everything, like you'll spend all your life
Insane.
savings on baby stuff.
Yep.
And it's like you streamline that, and then also just giving tangible examples, and like it's so clear cut. So yeah, I think it's provided such a safe space for moms and parents overall too, to just like learn from somebody who's like, hey, this is what we're doing over here, and it's never judgmental. And that's really the thing
goal. Good.
you've accomplished, which I find a lot, because I did the same. Like when I first had Jazz, I followed all these things and I was like, oh my God, like this is the only way, and it's not working with my kid. And like, well, if it's not working with it, then I must be doing something wrong. But the truth is, it's like, no, it's something to try.
There's so many different, and what one person says, someone's going to say the opposite of. And it's like, so it feels like as a parent in the social media world, it feels like you can't win really, because there's always something different. But now being on sort of the other side of it, it's just like, I wish I could just always say like, this is like, you don't have to do it this way, but you can if it works for you. And if it doesn't, that's okay too.
Yeah. It's just something to try.
Yeah.
So how did this all begin for you, your content creation journey?
You know, I like try and think back, and being a speech pathologist has been a real gem in motherhood because it provides so much flexibility. Yeah. So I had an amazing job that I loved, and then I had my son, and I went back to work full time after my, 12 weeks paid, or actually 6 weeks paid, 6 weeks unpaid. And paid days were taking my sick days. Just, a little asterisk. Don't want anyone to think I'm getting anything paid over here. No. And I was pumping still, and I was just like, this just doesn't feel good anymore. And so I was able to kind of, after finishing that, then I could do some private work, and I was able to try and balance motherhood with working. And then after I had my second Avery, again, I tried, and it's like, we got a nanny so I could work 2.5 days a week. And I remember at one point I got my paycheck, paid the nanny, and I had $5 left. And it's like, to be honest, the days I was out of the house in the morning are the harder days for everyone. It's easier for everyone when I was at home. It's easier for my husband to get to work. It's easier for the kids to be content. The nanny would come in, they would start crying, and it didn't feel good. So I started just randomly posting on TikTok. And I think it started like, doing silly little trends, and then trying to show some speech tips here and there, and then the starting solid stuff. And it was trying to figure out but it was the speech and language educational aspect that like really made a big difference. And I was like, I can talk about this stuff forever. Yeah. So whenever I had the chance, just like picking up the phone, I've always talked to the camera. I feel like has sort of been my thing. Yeah. I'm like, my face is you just get a lot on my face.
I think it's amazing though, because you're like, I have something to tell you, and it's really important.
It's really important. And here I am. But I look back at videos from like 2+ years ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like people watch this. I'm like, I can't look back at it. And like, how TikTok works. I'm like, all of my old videos are the ones that still somehow get the most views. It's like, let's have an old video from 2.5 years ago.
It's a matter of time. It's just because it's been circulating.
It just circulates.
It happens to me too.
And I'm like, oh, it's like a constant blast to the past. And then just
sometimes it's a trauma to the past.
I'm like, how did anyone trust what I was saying? I'm like speaking slowly and no pauses, like wasn't editing anything, just like straight talking. Yeah, that's the stuff that resonated the most.
Sure.
Like the parenting, the starting solids, speech and language stuff.
Yeah.
And people just ate it up. And so I just kept doing it, and it felt good to help people, honestly.
And then like you as a creator evolve over time too, to now like I'm sure you have like your set routine, like the things that you talk about, you kind of know your weekly structure. Yeah. Because I think that's the thing in the beginning, because I do the same, like I look back at some of my videos and I'm like, my God, I had like this little accent, like I was talking so quickly, and I would be like, and it's now, and it's just like an insecurity, and then you feel like you got to be like have this persona, and then my content now has progressed to being way more just this is who I am. Be comfortable. But it's funny because it's almost like that same thing resonates. It's just you as a person, you grow and grow with the content, and I mean now your page is at the place that both of them are. You're at the place where you are, where I feel like that educational aspect really does like. It has created something for people like to be able to trust you. And then for you to have been posting all of that for so long, It's so interesting. So when was the moment where you were like, okay, I'm going to do this? Because also, sorry, just an aside, it's so funny to me how you said, like, you're working, you have the nanny, you're overwhelmed. You know what I'm going to do? Take on something else.
Do something else. Let's just add so one more thing to the plate.
I'm going to try something else. And maybe this will be the thing to mitigate that stress.
You know, looking back at like the timeline of things, I feel like I did grow very quickly. I think there was just like a golden age of TikTok as well.
But and also the content resonating.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it was like a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like, oh, this is actually sort of happening. And I don't know, I'm sure you feel this way too, but it's like even your close friends and your family don't take you that seriously until they take you seriously.
Well, I'm waiting. With two sisters? Are you kidding? I am humble to the day. They're like, what do you think, you're a big deal or something?
You need someone to keep you humble.
For sure.
You really do.
Yeah.
But it's just then you're like uncomfortable talking about it or doing it. But I was still working. I started doing it, you know, you're making money from like, I was making money from the creator fund.
Right.
And it was like, oh, an Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow. Like this paid, you know, our car payment this month. It's like those little things that keep you going. Cause it's like, this is doing something, but I also still had to get another job still. So I was doing a contract job as an SLP going to school. But that actually ended up, if they ever see this, I had a lot of extra time to try and work on stuff while being at that job. So it kind of actually helped because I was able to edit and start like an email system and reaching out to brands, stuff that like I wouldn't have probably had as much time for if I was just a stay-at-home mom 24/7.
Okay.
So that was kind of where I like made my Cassidy and Kids email and tried to have like a posting schedule and all of that. And once kind of like that clicked, then once my contract job ended, it was to the point where it was like, okay, I'm making more money doing this now than doing that.
Okay.
So it was like, that helped with the clean break.
Yeah. And then also too, I'm sure, because I always look at it like the childcare aspect.
Yep.
It's like, then you're making money. You're also taking away this big financial burden sometimes because, and I relate so much to what you said about how the days that the childcare is happening are sometimes the most hectic versus the days where you're just home. Because even now, my schedule's split with Jazz, so we're 3 days at school and 2 days home. And he likes school now, and he's very happy. But I do find sometimes the days where it's just he and I home, and I'm in like my stay-at-home mom mode, they flow so much easier. Like even getting to bedtime and all that, it's crazy for me. But like for him, his energy is very consistent. And I think you have to pick and choose what's working. And it just like when those things all work out, and then you being able to be available to them. It's incredible.
And then my husband can go to work without having to think about all of the other things. It's like I'm always there, you know, most of the time. And the dynamics of that have changed a little bit now as I've continued to grow. But like just knowing that basically I'm always the person that can be childcare just works better for everyone.
Yeah, it's nice. Well, like, also still having an incredible job because that's what this is. And like being able to pursue your own passions. But kind of like having it be so lax with the way the schedule can go. That's the best thing about this job is like, you're kind of on your own time. You got to hold yourself accountable, but also
at the end of the day,
something comes up. It's like, okay, I can do this tonight or tomorrow or whatever. So
I tell like any mom now that asks me about content creation, I'm like, I don't care, just do it. Because especially it being a predominantly woman field, like giving and moms like the chance to be able to try and figure something out that works for their family. I'm like, just try it and see if it works. I'm like, you just have to start. You just got to start doing it.
For sure. So third pregnancy, like, I want to know everything. I feel like the most asked question on TikTok that I see from people, it's like, do I go for the third? So like, you're here, you're going for the third.
We did it.
What is, tell us everything.
You know, I feel like we both always thought we wanted 3 and then you have 1. And then you have another one. And it's like, oh, do we want 3? There's one TikTok that is just ingrained in my memory. And it's like 3 kids is just too many for anybody. And I'm like, okay, but I'm one of 3.
Me too.
My husband's one of 3.
Right.
And so it's just like, we're like, we have to do it. Keeping up with the Joneses, where the Joneses is our own family. It's like, you just feel like you have to.
Right.
And so we we did have the 2 under 2 close together. And I was like, I can't do that again. And I definitely had, after my first, had an itch at the 11-month mark to have another. I was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And we did. And now there's Avery. Did not have that itch whatsoever.
I see.
After that. So this was like this thing in here was like a decision that had to be made.
Got it.
It felt very like, I don't know if we should. I don't know if I want to. It was a lot more thinking. And then one day I remember I checked my Flow app and I missed when peak ovulation would be.
I see.
And I got really sad.
Ah.
And I was like, okay, I think that's
the sign.
That's
only sign.
The only sign I think I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
And then we officially started trying, and it took 2 or 3 months this time.
I loved that you shared your trying to conceive journey as openly as you could. And I think it was really nice because I think a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of emotionally in a place where it's very hard or whatever the case may be. It was so nice to watch. I felt like the sadness for you, but I also felt so excited for you. And it's just also nice to see somebody who's this is taking a couple months and I'm working on it, because everybody just they're I think I'm gonna have another baby, and then the next thing they're like, announcement, and you're like, what?
And I feel with women too, we know that feeling of once you kind of in your head are maybe I am pregnant, and you take a test and it's negative, and it's oh shoot, that really stinks.
Terrible
and
feeling.
It's talked about for sure, but it definitely is just not something that I feel everyone realizes most of us go through.
Yeah. I think it's discussed. I don't think that you see it happening in real time.
Yes.
I think it's the least shared. People share so much postpartum, but that the trying to conceive journey is very rare to see somebody sharing unless they're going through IVF.
Exactly.
So I thought it was nice to be able to know that it's not just because I experienced that when I got pregnant with Jazz, and then you're right, it's when you think that you are, and then you're it's so long to wait. You think you are, and then you're well, I can't test for so long.
Yep.
And then you find out you aren't, and then you're God, now I need to wait another
and now you have to wait 2 weeks.
So,
and then it's trying to figure out. I had never used the little ovulation smiley things before, and again, I don't know why I was worried this time, and I was okay, I got to track my ovulation to a T. And that added anxiety, but it also worked.
Yeah.
So it's I can't complain, but it's just.
But it is a very anxiety riddling experience to know that you want something, to then go about doing it. And you're working with time too, and your body. It's kind of you do have to in some way be aware.
And then it's reminding my husband, okay,
hey,
we've got a smiley face on the counter.
Everybody smile. That's so funny. I know. It's everyone wants to be so nonchalant about it. It's so chill. And I think maybe for your first, you're just kind of whatever. I wasn't like that. I'm not a whatever kind of person. I'm a what time does chill start kind of girl. So for me, I was well, what's going on? But I do think that a lot of people say when it comes to because then you know what it is, and now you're excited, and it's so much more awareness about the situation that you're hold on, I need to track all of this, and it can make you a little mental.
It turns into a full game science experiment situation. And I feel very blessed that even then this one only took 3-ish months. It's we go through a lot, and then our husbands are just kind of along for the ride, and they're supportive, but it's you can't explain that feeling until you have it, I feel I
just think it's two different roles. I'm so beyond this point of Dimitri doesn't need to get it. His role is very different than mine, and it always will be. And I think that there's a strength in both, but
it's a great way.
You just gotta, I'm done.
It's a very good outlook.
Yeah, because I think when I was postpartum, I spent a lot of time being you don't know. And now I'm you're not supposed to know because you actually need to do the other things. And so I think that has created a lot more understanding, and we both have our, I crash out over this, you crash out over that, and it creates for more fluidity.
And a little less resentment, especially when it comes.
Yeah, because I also, hot take, I don't want my husband to be pregnant. I'd rather be the pregnant one. Right. I'm so sorry.
Could you imagine?
Are you kidding? what do you think? We'd be like in the hospital for 10 months straight. Because he'd be like,
so right.
I'm sorry, Dimitri. I love you so much. He's sitting over there. I love you so much. But like my worst nightmare would be you pregnant.
I mean, my husband has like a cold right now. And it's like, oh, we're taking care of you.
Oh, yeah. I got 7 hours of sleep. I'm exhausted.
We can just do it.
Yeah.
We can do it.
It's like, I'm sorry. You know it's true. You're smiling because you know it's true, hon. So, yeah. No, I don't want to switch,
You're so right.
I'll take it on.
And like today, it's like I was tired and I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit and eat a sweet green and you can hang out with our 2-year-old. And I was like, I feel no guilt or shame doing this. I was like, this is what I need right now and I'm going to take it. So there is, pregnancy has its perks.
Yeah, it does.
It for sure does.
It does. And like being mom, and I think like no matter what, as mom, you're always the one who's the default parent, regardless of like if both parents work or whatever. It is just that thing that happens. No one can do it like mom. So I think that there is also, we have to relinquish a lot of the guilt of being like, you know what, you guys go do this or you take this on. I think I've learned over time that I have to be more verbal about like, I'm stepping away for a sec or like I need my second. And I don't think that it's anybody's responsibility to give it to me. It's more so my responsibility to take it. And like, no, mom guilt.
And then it's like you feel the guilt doing it, but it's like the more you practice that, I feel like the easier it gets.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm getting to that point now where it's like, you're going to take the kids on Friday at 4:00 because I need a few hours without them. And my husband is amazing, very capable, but it's just like, it really is more kind of on me. Like, you got to do it.
Yep. I think it's that too. It's like having a capable partner doesn't change the fact that you feel, or like a willing, or like, I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's like, it's us having to get over ourselves. But I was thinking about it because I'm like, okay, you're now going to have a third baby. So what will the dynamic, how do you feel about the dynamic is going to be with a newborn and 2 kids?
I'm feeling pretty good right now. In my head, I'm like, this is the dream I have. My husband is very lucky. He gets 3 months paid paternity leave. So in my head, I'm going to take, this is probably our last baby. I'm like, I want to try and soak up and recover the best I can. I remember when we came home with our second, I mean, I was distraught leaving Noah to go to the hospital, like I'm feeling awful about leaving you and bringing another human in, and sobbed when we brought Avery home. And then I remember Kyle being like, hey, should we take Noah to the park? And I'm, in a diaper 2 days postpartum. And I was like, yeah, let's go to the park. And it's like putting on a coat and find just all the things. And I was like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have been like, you can take him to the park. Like, I need to recover. So I am trying to prioritize like myself, especially I think like the first few weeks. I want to try like the 5-5-5 method people talk about. I need to research it a little more.
I'm obsessed. I watch videos about people who do it all the time. And I'm like, great. It sounds like a dream, especially if you have support and like can do that. Wow.
That's what I think. That's my goal. Try and be on the bed, near the bed. All of those things. I want to drink like broths and teas. And there's a hotel in Chicago that does a postpartum retreat.
Oh my God. Wait, there's one in New York too. That's so crazy.
So you can go like, if you want, you can go straight from the hospital to the hotel.
Oh my God.
They have postpartum nurses. They have lactation consultants. They bring you all your meals. You get spa credits. The baby can go to they have a nursery. They can bring the baby to you when you need to feed it.
Iconic. I watched a video about the one in New York. I think it was like maybe 2 weeks postpartum, and I looked at Richard and I was like, why didn't we do this? It was incredible. This family was like, literally. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm bleeding.
I'm highly considering doing something.
Very cool.
I think I'll probably want to go, again, the guilt of being a mom already. I'm like, that sounds absolutely amazing for having a newborn, but I also have 2 other kids. And so it's like the guilt of being like, well, mommy's like, are they going to come visit me at the hotel,
Right.
So I think maybe I'll try and go home for a little and then maybe just like book a few nights there, a few weeks out.
Yeah.
To try and like R&R a little more.
I think it sounds amazing. I think this is based off of no experience whatsoever, but I have this, I guess, idea about, when you have another child and you already have a child or children, it's like you also deserve to take your time to bond with this new human. And the guilt of them being like, well, where's mom? And like our whole lives have changed. I think like if you take a little bit of time for you to just adjust to your new life, it's just not even going to matter. And it won't live within them the idea of like, well, she was gone for 4 days and we were, it's
they're not
like
going to be
traumatized
from it.
Yeah. Versus if it's like you do force yourself, not you, but just like people in general who force themselves postpartum to like go. And then eventually you got to catch yourself again and catch up again. And so I'd rather take it in the beginning and you bond and feel comfortable and heal and then integrate your life back together slowly, And they always remember the way you are with them, less about the circumstances. It's in my opinion.
And especially like knowing those first, like especially those first 2 weeks, I feel like are just like
they're so fundamental.
Just it's like you're up and you're down and there's so many emotions and adrenaline.
Yeah.
And it's like a little time to not have to be full-time mom to 3 kids would probably be good.
Yeah. And it's nice to like, I think the, like baby blues, those first 2 weeks, like all that stuff, it's like, we're really not supposed to do much, but just lay there and cuddle that. They're the endorphins there, you sniff them, you hug them, you cuddle them. And it's like, you're not supposed to be forcing like yourself to go
there's so
again.
much science behind it. And it's like the Chinese medicine aspect, which is like the 555. Like there's
so incredible.
There's so much actual reasoning behind it.
Yep.
But I feel like now you just see, again, on social media, you see a mom who's, out 2 days after being out of the hospital with her baby and dressed and makeup on. And it's like a lot of people feel good doing that. And I needed that too sometimes. But like, especially back, I mean, people have been having babies forever. Like this didn't used to be the norm. The norm used to be like mom stays and lays and.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know. I feel like there's to each their own. Like if you getting up and running around is like the best thing for you, awesome. I just think that there is a little bit of a pressure to just get back into it where those first 2 weeks really, it really is. It's 2 weeks. It's letting your hormones even out. It's kind of honing in on just like quiet time and like, when else is it acceptable? I look back, I'm like, I'm so angry that I was so go. Like, when else is it? No one accepts me if I want to be like, I need to lay down. Like, I can't lay down now.
No.
I should have laid down then.
No, when I had bronchitis so bad 2 weeks ago, I literally couldn't get out of bed. And I was like, you know what? But this isn't terrible because I have not laid this much in years. Like, it's so sad, but I was like, at least I'm resting my body. Like, my body has not known this type of rest.
Right.
It's so crazy.
I'm very excited for baby number 3 for you. And I think that so many people are just going to be very enamored with watching your journey because 3 is like going for the 3rd. I feel like it's very common now that people have 2 kids. And so I think it's super inspiring to watch you grow your business, expand in that aspect, be so tuned into your family, and also choose to continue growing your family. I was telling Dimitri this, that I'm inspired by you, that you're like, I'm going to have another child also while doing this whole content creation journey too. Because for me, sometimes I'm like, is it the best time to have
like,
but like
you're doing all these other amazing things.
But then I'm like, no, you're having 3. And it's cool to watch people keep expanding their life and just doing the best that they can at all the things, which leads me to my question, which is like, how are you balancing all of these things?
Isn't that always? Not well. No, I think overall, like, I feel like it's taken time, but we've gotten into a rhythm of sorts. I say that as we've talked about childcare, but today was our babysitter's last day. And I'm just like, we had her for the last like 3 months and she's been an absolute like godsend angel. I mean, for me to be able to just like know that I can wash my hair at 10 a.m. one day if I need to, or go run errands without lugging the 2 kids and being very pregnant. So I think she has helped a ton. I always knew she was going to she needed a full-time situation. That's not our situation right now. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, but it's going to be the holidays and babies coming. It's a good time to not have help. But at the end of the day, it's like, I think all moms need help in a village as much as they can.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been a doozy. It's some days I get really stressed at thinking about the to-do list of, there's still the to-do list to do around the house. There's the to-do list of the kids that I'm taking care of, pregnancy to-do list, and then job creation to-do list. And sometimes it just feels like so overwhelming.
Right.
And I've definitely had my moments. Again, not the resentment, but it's like my husband has a typical job. And so he goes to the office or goes up in our bedroom, which is his office at home. And he gets all this dedicated time to work.
Yeah.
And I don't get the dedicated time to work. And so there's the frustration piece there and trying to figure that out. But now he has tuned in. It's a lot about communication too. Like, hey, I have to have this ad edited and I need to film it and I need your help with this. Yeah. And I think that's been a piece where as the job piece gets more legitimate, then he is more willing and able to like tap in because he sees the benefits of all of this as well. So I couldn't do it without him for sure. It's just still trying to find the balance as well.
Super relatable. I feel the same way. I also think like content creation being the job, it is also really hard to ask them for help. Yeah. Because it's true. My husband has a typical job as well. And so sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, well, you're in that room for like 8 to 10 hours, just like focused on one thing. Yeah. And I'm like thinking about all these different categories. And I have to check myself because I'm like, my husband helps around the house, helps with my son. Like it's a very 50-50 relationship in the ways it can be. But I do have different responsibilities and I have a lot more categories of responsibilities to do. And that's the way we set it up. I'm always like, this was my choice too. You know, like I have to remind myself of that. Yes. But it's very relatable to hear you say that because I personally feel like I'm always like, I'm not doing this well. But then it's like when you like pull out and you look at the whole week, you're like, but I did everything.
Look at all the things you did.
I just think it's when you're in it and there's other human beings. Yep. It's a lot too. And you have dogs too, right?
Oh my God.
I feel more guilty about my dog than I've ever felt
so
about
much
my
guilt.
kids.
Yes.
Because I'm like, she had this beautiful life. And now she's like, what the hell did you do? And she just wants all the same things. But she is purely the reason that I crash out.
Overstimulation.
80% of the time it's her. Yep. Because like, what a little brat. Also, it's like, dude, you aren't going to die if
you're gonna
don't
be
get
okay.
XYZ. He needs things. Now we're at the phase where if he's crying and upset, she's looking at me barking. No. And I'm like, and he fake cries a lot.
No, that was
too is so fun. Jazz will just look at me and be like, oh yeah. And she's like, rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, he's faking it. You need to go. What is going on?
And then
they're both
all
like,
of a sudden it's
And I'm standing there alone and I'm like, and it's dark outside and it's 4:30.
We still have 3 hours of this. Yeah.
I'm bringing it back to the original.
We're balancing it all.
Yeah, we're balancing it all. And I think it's like, it's really part of it. It's learning how to ask for support. I think that's such a complicated thing is learning how to ask for support and then tapping into that imposter syndrome when it comes to content creation. I think it's really hard to ask for support from someone who has a very typical job to be like, can you help me out so I can, because it doesn't ever feel, because it's so vast, you know, content creation. It's like there are people with 15 million followers and nothing ever feels like it's at the peak of success. I don't know if you feel that way. I personally feel that way so often. That it's so hard to ask somebody to stop their very valid thing that they're doing to help when it kind of still just, I don't know, for me, always lingers like a hobby. I'm like, maybe it's just kind of a hobby. How do I ask for help to do this thing? But I think it's just about what you said. There are no dips. And so it's 7 days a week, multiple times a day where you do have to engage. And then there are portions of content creation where you're like, this isn't a very performative time. Like nothing's happening. And I have months where I'm like, this was a really bad month. And then I have months where I'm like, holy shit, my whole life
everything's happening literally in the blink of an eye.
That's so normal for a regular, typical job where there are certain quarters where things are crazy and
you're
times
working
where
towards
things are
the
slow.
promotion.
But for us, it just feels so, and I've over time been like, this isn't a normal way to work. Like I'm going to have bad months. I don't have to post on the weekends all the time. Yeah. Like it's really learning to balance that and ask for help and see it as valid within yourself.
And you feel so defined by like views and people engaging with you, which like is so surface level and feels silly, but that's a part of it that is there. It's like, oh, I worked on this, or I was excited about this, and no one likes it.
I know.
Like,
sometimes it really, like, sometimes I'm like, I could really act out and be like, what, you didn't like it?
Yeah.
What's up? Hello, did anyone see this? But I'm like, don't be that person. Because it also just, in the grand scheme, it doesn't matter. Because then the next week, something incredible happens.
You're so good at talking to your community, though. And I feel like people really like value that. Like, I feel like you have such a connection level, which is like what I try and do sometimes, and it just doesn't feel as natural because it's like starting with the educational piece and then trying to weave in lifestyle, but it's just like you just chit chat so well. And I feel
think
like
it's because of I appreciate that very much. I think it's because I trauma bonded with them because I started posting when I was pregnant. And then it was like I was pregnant and miserable, and then I was postpartum and miserable. And so I think like a big core of the community came from this like very traumatic time. And then I was severely depressed. And I think it was just such an emotional thing that that's why there's that kind of like connection in that way. But I also think like you're about to go through postpartum. Were you posting when you were pregnant?
No, I've never posted pregnant or postpartum before.
I think you'll see
now that
change.
You say that because Avery was like 9 months.
Yeah, you'll see a difference. I've noticed that. It's because you're about to go through a big life change, and so it will consume you, and it will be something that you talk about a lot, and then you're gonna connect with more people who are probably postpartum too, or just about to give birth. And so I think those big life moments create for that intimacy with the community. Yeah. Versus when it just starts out. Just you're posting about your life, kind of. Something kind of has to. And I've noticed that with a lot of like the mom community. It's like when you start kind of pregnant or postpartum, that happens.
I had someone comment on one of my videos the other day, and they were like, it was like one of my gift guides, which they're so silly, but I love freaking doing.
Yes.
And they were like, I love these, but you have toddlers now, and I can't wait for you to have a newborn to kind of, and I think you are going like, I'm going to go through this phase of life with people, whether it's their first or their third, like me, like being in that postpartum newborn phase, you just kind of need to relate to someone a lot of the time.
I think you will see a big shift emotionally within your audience too, because educational content is great and they rely on you and trust you and believe you. But I think that like that connection that you're talking about, it comes from that like life changing experience that you will share with them.
That's gonna happen. I keep forgetting. It's gonna come out at some point.
I wanted to ask you about like how being an SLP has altered like motherhood for you, and like what it's things like you're grateful for. Like, is it sometimes knowing too much? Like, how does that feel?
I definitely feel like it is a blessing having, especially in grad school, you talk so much through just like early childhood education. And then I always knew I wanted to work with kids, and I was like, oh, I'll be a teacher. And then I found this role and I was like, okay, this is great. And so as a 20-something-year-old working with kids every day, and I ended up working with mostly 0 to 3 and preschoolers almost my whole like in-person SLP career, it definitely gives you preps you a little bit more but I look back now and I'm like, gosh, some of the things I probably said to the moms when I was 20, actually probably 22, 23, 24. And it's like, I wasn't a mom, but I'm telling them something to do with their kids. It's like, I would love to be able to redo that again from the viewpoint as a mom, because I do feel like it like goes both ways, knowing what's realistic now. And having that mindset. So it definitely prepares you. There are times where it's like, I have a group of friends from grad school. It's like our text messages, grad gals. And we'll just be like, we know way too much being a first time mom, I definitely think there was a piece that like added anxiety to it. Like
Sure.
constantly checking developmental milestones and comparison and whatnot. And then after that initial phase, it's like, now I just feel like I appreciate the way I'm able to communicate with my kids and kind of like the patience and the language it's given me to have the skill set. I always say, like, you just, as a parent, you have a toolbox, and it's like the more things you have in your toolbox, you have that one tool that's going to solve that one problem.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think it added to my toolbox, and it does like every day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can only assume that it adds this like sometimes overanalyzation, but then also having just like being able to pull from, like you said, so many things, so many tools, and like be able to talk to them and communicate with them. And I think, I'm wondering, this must be something that people say to you, but I would say a common misconception is that people think your kids eat everything and love. They love food. They love to eat. They're eating the craziest, like gourmet, whatever.
That's what I've been trying to, and again, the social media balance of showing my kids as well is just something that I go back and forth with every day. But I do love trying to share like relatable moments, especially in like the picky eating and the family dynamic phase, because I feel like you don't see a ton of those real moments. And so it's like the other day I posted a video and I was trying to make something quick, and I made little pumpkin quesadillas and I was recording because I was recording making it, and Avery just like tossed the quesadilla the second it hit the plate. And she was like, I don't like this, and just like frisbee tossed the quesadilla at me. And I was just like, that is real life. Like, just because I am a feeding therapist, and they're not picky eaters, but they're going to have preferences. But
they're human beings.
Mealtime at 6 p.m. is my least favorite time of day.
Right.
I'm here right now, not during mealtime, living my best life, because I dread that time of day.
Yeah.
Even as someone with the background.
Yeah.
They're just...
People will very much enjoy hearing that, because I think that's the thing where, yes, I think everybody feels like their kid eats the worst.
Yeah.
And everybody else's kids eat great. Because even I don't really share mealtime stuff, but I vlog. So it's like people will see us eating or whatever, and they're like, he eats great. And I'm like, dude, you don't know what's going on. I'm also not going to show you our entire dinner, because who the hell wants to watch? That doesn't feel relaxed. I don't like watching people's like whole dinners with their kids, because I live that. Like, I want to see something interesting or relatable quickly. But I don't really think, who the hell wants to watch Jazz feed the dog Parmesan cheese and stick broccoli up his nose? That's not interesting to me. He eats. I don't consider him a picky eater, but like, holy shit.
It's still a struggle.
Shit show.
Every day.
And I'm still sitting there literally gritting my teeth. I don't enjoy dinner anymore. I force myself to eat with him because I'm trying to be like family, but I'm like, God, I can't wait for you to go to bed and have a real dinner. Like by myself.
We've been doing Friday most of the time. Friday or Sunday, we'll do movie night, and we'll do dinner movie night, and either like I'll make something and we'll start a movie at like 5:30.
Nice.
And just, we're still sitting as a family, but it's like, wow, I can sit and enjoy this meal, and like I'm gonna do it guilt-free, because and honestly, Noah eats, we love Lou Malnati's, and he'll like down like 2 to 3 Lou Malnati's pieces of pizza now. Like, he's like, he loves it too. I'm like, this makes everyone happy. I feel absolutely zero shame in doing this whatsoever. Because the rest of the days,
I know.
Sometimes we get a really good one. Sometimes it's just full meltdown city.
You heard it here first. Everybody's having the same 6 p.m. shudders because we're all like, dear God. It's like, you can't win.
And now with it getting dark out, I'm like, we just all need to go to bed. Honestly, I have toyed with the idea, now that Noah's in school till 4, I am going to feed us dinner the second you get home from school. And if I could logistically do that more, I actually think it would be beneficial for everybody. I love a family dinner. I think, especially when starting solids and like between 1 and 2 years old, it's important to be sitting and eating together. But like the pressure to do that sometimes, I think just gets to everybody. And I'm like, if we ate a 4:30 dinner and you guys are at your toddler towers at the counter and you're happy and filling your bellies, great. And then you guys can have a snack at 6:30 and be asleep at 7.
Sometimes I think it really works for us. we try a lot of different things. It kind of depends because Dimitri will work late sometimes, but he works from home, which that's a whole nother fucking thing because he's like, Papa downstairs. And I'm like, we can't, no, he's not.
Yep.
You know, the whole thing. So I feel like though, when like they come home from school, because Josh usually gets home around 4 o'clock too. And I'm like, he needs time to re-regulate, and he's usually freaking starving. And then it's like, why would I do a snack now? This is like my new thing. Why do we do a snack now? Unless we're cooking dinner together, which usually can get me by.
Buy you some time.
But other than that, I'm like, let's freaking eat.
Let's eat.
Eat. You regulate yourself. You sit down. You calm down. Whatever. We usually listen to like the audio Thomas the Train. That's his new thing.
So big Thomas.
So cute.
Here.
It's like literally like
choo choo.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't listen to these anymore, but it's better than screens and like whatever.
Yep.
I don't have anything against screens. It's just sometimes
like,
I'm trying, I'm trying my best.
Yep.
But yeah, like early dinner like that. And then then you can have a good few
Then you
hours.
can enjoy the rest of.
Yeah, because they've like regulated, they've eaten.
Yep.
So I'm with you. I think it's the only way. And the weekends are different, but you can't do family dinner every night.
No. And that's like the pressure I put on myself. I'm like, it's so silly. And I like to cook recipes because that's what I used to love listening to music and having a glass of wine and cooking. And it's like, it's just not the phase.
But do you like cooking and screaming? That's really the question.
Even it's like Kyle will be playing with the kids in the other room and I'm trying to like follow a recipe and I'm like, this is just.
I've become a terrible chef since becoming a mom because I'm like, I read and then I'm like, what was that, 2 or 3? I don't know. Things are turning out really bad. Like lately they're turning out really bad and I'm like, I can't focus.
No, you have to be able to focus.
I can't.
People are like, I'd love for you to post more recipes and whatnot. And I'm like, trust me. You do not.
Not right now.
We eat the same 5 to 7 things on rotation because I can cook them with my eyes closed. And yeah, they're good. But if I posted my recipes, you'd be seeing the same thing every single week.
What's something you wish people knew more about starting solids?
I feel like people put, and I did this as well, even as a feeding therapist, put a lot of pressure in those that first month. And so I followed a 100, the 100 foods and the 100 days situation. Right. And on day 2, I was cooking spare ribs and I don't eat ribs and tomato sauce. And I was like, I have to follow this. He's got to have this and cauliflower or else like this kid's never going to eat. And I put that, again, that was just another added mental load pressure that I was spending so much time preparing foods and stressing about it. And then once I had Avery, I was like, this isn't realistic. And that's where like the Starting Solids guide sort of came in. I had just finished sort of that process with Avery. And I was like, here's what realistically worked for me having baby number 2 and like 0 pressure. Yeah. And it was just a much more enjoyable experience. And so it's like, you don't have to do 101 foods and it's going to be okay. They're not going to be a picky eater. It's like, do what is realistic for you and your family, and you can do it in a way that you're comfortable with. And there are some things you do want to do to have the most success as possible in the long term. Like I always say, it's like, you don't want to serve purees for a long time, because one of the top comments I get is, I served my kid purees for too long. Now they don't know how to chew and swallow. Right. And that is a thing. And so there's pieces of it, like there's optimal ways to do things. There's recommendations. You don't have to do it 100%. It's always trying to find what works best for you and what is realistic, because that's what's going to have the most success in the long run. Right.
I remember your tip about the mango seed.
Yep.
And I was talking to someone recently, which this is their second child, and she was saying like, he's gagging on everything, even purees. And she's like, I'm so scared, but I heard their first child is a picky eater, and she's like, I don't want to do the same thing.
And I was like, same thing happen.
Well, I have the perfect person for you. So then I told her, showed her your account, and then I told her about the mango seed, and she was like, this is exactly what I needed. And I think it's like so interesting to have that kind of info, because it makes everything so much less complicated. Because it's like, you don't have to now like make them a chicken leg. No. It's like, you can give them a mango seed and you're good to go. They can chomp on it. And it's not a puree.
They're learning how to chew, but you don't have to stress about the gagging, because that would be overstimulating as well if that happened every time. And then you're putting pressure on your baby who's 6 months old, and you're putting pressure on yourself. And it's like, that's silly. Like, it's going to be okay. You just want as much exposure as you can in the beginning, and you want them to learn how to chew, but you can do that in a way, especially in those situations where there is gagging or tongue thrust. Sure. It's like, that can be scarring for everyone. So definitely figure out what works best.
If you were to give someone like your top 3 tips, they're starting their solids journey.
Okay. I will always remember to the day we put Noah in his high chair, had no idea how to do the straps. I have the food ready. He's reaching for an avocado, and like, we're so flustered.
All right.
Kyle and I looking at each other, we're like, I don't know how these straps work. And I should always talk about this more, that putting your child in a high chair, letting them play with spoons and everything before you want to serve them their first food, because it is so anxiety inducing no matter what. And especially when you're sitting there trying to figure out how to do high chair straps in the moment and your child's reaching for the food. It's like, oh, we're off to a terrible start.
It's like not trying the car seat before you leave the hospital.
110.
We did that.
That same exact feeling.
How does this work?
Yeah. We had to take him out. He's crying. The nurse is just standing there watching you like, you got to figure this out. I can't help you.
I know.
That exact feeling.
I was literally like, why can't you help us? And she's like, legally, I can't. And I was like, you don't want to just like give me a...
She literally didn't even look. I think she was looking the other direction. She's like, I can't handle this responsibility. So that would be one. Exposing things, getting things ready. Don't feel like they're 6 months old, I have to start on this day.
Right.
Give yourself time to when it's a good time. And then I would say, don't feel like you have to do baby-led weaning 110% the way a Facebook group will tell you to.
Right.
Find a way that works for you, but also do your research and know how you want to do it, because you need to be confident in it as well. And then number 3, I think a lot of people will be like, my baby just isn't bringing anything to their mouth and it's just going terribly. And I'm like, I want you to think of this as you're ahead of the game. You're starting early with all of this. They are learning how to do something for the very first time. This is like the first thing they kind of have to learn how to do.
Right.
And it has so much pressure around it. And so knowing that it may take some time, and that's totally okay. You're not behind because you're 3 weeks in and your baby hasn't, swallowed something. Like, you're actually doing it ahead a little bit. And so to try and have it be enjoyable and sit down with them, be with them. Because I'm like, if you're staring at them and not modeling how to do something, like, they're not going to know how to bring the food to their mouth if they're not seeing you do it.
Right.
So try and slow down. It's not the most fun. I have fun with it now, but I think to most people it's anxiety inducing. It adds a lot to the mental load.
For sure.
But try and enjoy it and be like an active participant in the process. And don't blame yourself if they're not doing it right away, because you're doing everything you can now to have success in the long run. Yeah. It's a long-term goal for sure.
Yes. I love that. I think that's really comforting. I think a lot of specifically first-time moms really need to hear that, or like big age gap moms, because I also think, Jazz started eating solid food when maybe it was like 5-ish months we started. He was sitting up and his doctor was like, you can start. And I'm like, great. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, now we have to do this. Because it's like, everything feels fun. As a first-time mom, everything feels fun. So fun. And when someone tells you can like do this new thing.
You get to take out the high chair and the bibs. And
now I do this every day, 4 times a day, however many times a day. It's like, oh God. But now I look back and I'm like, we actually did have a lot more fun when I learned to chill out. And I think it's that. It's like, in my head, I'm like, it's not working. Everything feels like it's not working.
It's not working.
Same with
They're
sleep,
not meeting.
All of that. But food is so sensitive, I think, for people too, because one of the biggest fears is that you go to the doctor and they're like, the baby's not gaining weight or whatever. And so I think food feels like I don't know, it's like a mom thing. Our main primal instinct is like to feed.
Literally from the day they're born. It's like,
so it can be sensitive and definitely cause anxiety. But I think those are such good tips, because it's true. It's like, you gotta, all of these tips equal let it happen naturally, and you be as calm and have as much fun as you can. Yeah. Because it's true. That's what's gonna set the tone.
That's what's gonna be like the best outcome. Yeah. It's not the stuff you have, it's not the first food you give. Those can vary. It's like everything you do to prepare, and also be an active participant in the process
Totally.
and enjoy it, ideally.
Wrapping up, I want to ask you, what do you hope people get from your content?
I hope that they feel like they have someone they can go to for questions, realistic and relatable, which seems like such taboo words, but it really is the truth. Again, my fear was always that it was going to come off judgmental, but basically having like a mom, big sister that you can ask questions to, because I feel like I didn't have that. And so
Right.
being that for other people has been like very rewarding. I got to go to like a conference with a brand a few weeks ago, and people were like, when they recognized me and they're like, oh my gosh, you helped so much with this. And I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like that is always the goal. And
Totally.
that's what I find most fulfilling, to be like, hey, you actually really did help with this. And I'm like, that's awesome, because without social media, I wouldn't have known you, you know?
Yeah.
So
No, it's so nice. And you are doing that. You are like this like big sis who's like got the tea, and everybody's like, okay, because it's so nice. It's nice to have. I mean, that's how I found you, because I was like, wow, I trust her, and everybody else is like not making any sense, but this makes sense. And like, we need that.
And like the trust piece too. It's like, I would like never try and do something, again, this isn't social media, but it's just like always wanting to be as helpful and trustworthy, because I feel like I'm just always sharing like information that I would want to know.
You're also giving so much information for free. I think like from the jump, that instantly like created such trust for me when I first found your account, because I'm like, people pay good money for this information. And like, she is just like willingly giving it and sharing. And I was like, this is really great. Cause I mean, okay, cool. You make money off views on TikTok. Everybody knows that. But like at the end of the day, what you're giving would cost way more than what you're ever probably going to make from a view.
Even when I did my starting solids guide, I was like, I think I listed it for $10 at first, and then 18 or 12 or
but like
something.
you have to make money too. I mean, at the end of the day, that's a product.
And I felt like so guilty doing that. And then people will ask, I'll be like, yeah, I do have this guide, but also I have this playlist of videos on my TikTok with 130 something videos that's going to give you almost the same thing. Like you can access it for free. It's just always been to like help and inform has always been the goal.
Yeah. And you do that.
And it doesn't hurt when you make a buck or two and can help provide for the family.
This is just like a side, but like, yeah, okay, you want to see you love your creator that you follow all the time, that you trust, who's helping you feed your baby. Like, people need to make money too. I always think it's so interesting. People are like, oh God, now I have to pay for whatever. And it's like, well, do you want to keep seeing this stuff or not? Because like at some point,
I explained it one time as like, this is not just like this is money that is needed. I would have to find elsewhere. If like this is like a job, a career to provide for my family that I would have to do,
of course,
either way. And so doing it in a meaningful way has definitely felt good. It's an interesting. Every day's a roller coaster in the motherhood content creation, but grateful for it in the community too.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. Very excited for you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for making
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. This was so fun.
It was great.
Just such a treat.
I feel like I've known Cassidy for a long time, because it's just like I watch everything, and like we've been mutuals now for a while, and it's like so funny to meet somebody you follow online, like in person, and be like, it almost feels like very familiar from the jump.
Like, yes.
Right? What can we look forward to from you? I mean, besides a beautiful new baby.
I think it will be very interesting to see. I truly have not thought about what life with 3 kids is going to look like, and then how that is going to play into content creation and continuing to share my life. So I think I need to take some time and put some thought into it. But I think that is part of the beauty of social media, is that I think I'll ask people and they can give me insights. And I think we'll figure it out together as we go. Because I think no expectations in this situation is the best. It's the best. No expectations.
Okay, so stay tuned.
It could be
for anything that's to come. It could be educational. It could be baby content. It could be anything.
I think it's just going to be chaos, whatever it is. But hopefully beautiful chaos.
It always
fingers,
is. Yes.
Fingers are crossed.
We're excited to see it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. And guys, you can find Cassidy at Cassidy and Kids.
Yep.
It's Cassidy and Kids everywhere. And yeah, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Yay.
Bye.